Have you ever noticed how quickly people respond when you stop chasing? It's almost like the moment you pull your energy back, everything shifts. That's not magic, it's psychology, especially when it comes to women. If she's ignoring you, don't panic. Don't scramble to fix things or beg for her attention. That's the trap most men fall into. They think the answer lies in doing more texts, more calls, more proving. But let me tell you something most never hear. Doing less is often more powerful than doing more. See, silence is one of your greatest tools. When a woman starts ignoring you, the worst thing you can do is respond with desperation. Desperation smells, and it's repelling. What you need to do is pull back completely. Let her sit in that silence. Let her feel what it's like when you stop showing up. Not to play games, not to punish her, but to protect your dignity. Because a man who values himself doesn't chase after someone who's running away. He watches her leave and keeps walking in the opposite direction. This isn't about ego, it's about energy. The more energy you pour into someone who's withdrawing from you, the more power you give them over your emotional state. And trust me, women can feel when your world is orbiting around them. It's not attractive, it's exhausting. What makes a woman lean back in is when she feels your absence, not your frustration, not your need, your absence, your peace, your ability to carry on unfazed. There's strength in silence, there's confidence in restraint. When she expects you to chase and you don't, when she thinks you'll double text and you vanish instead, she starts to question everything. Not because you're playing a role, but because you've chosen to stop auditioning. You've chosen to stand still and let her realize that losing you comes with a cost. So the next time a woman ignores you, don't hand her your dignity on a silver platter. Pull back, reclaim your space, let her feel the weight of your silence, not the noise of your desperation. That's when she'll realize you weren't waiting for her, you were just giving her a chance to meet you at your level. Let me ask you something that might sting a little. Why are you letting her behavior control how you feel about yourself? Think about it. One day she's warm, affectionate, giving you attention. The next she's cold, distant, not even responding to your messages. And suddenly your whole mood shifts. Your confidence dips. You start questioning everything. What did I do wrong? Why is she acting this way? How do I get her attention back? Here's the truth. The moment you allow her to set the emotional tone, you've given away your power. And that's exactly where most men lose. They forget that they're supposed to lead, not just with their actions, but with their emotions too. When you give her the remote control to your mood, you lose the one thing that actually attracts her: emotional control. See, most women don't test you with logic, they test you with energy. They'll withdraw, go quiet, become unpredictable, not because they're always being manipulative, but because they're wired to respond to strength. And strength doesn't flinch. When she pulls away and sees that you're still centered, still calm, still you, that's when her curiosity gets triggered. That's when she starts wondering, why isn't he chasing me? Why is he still so composed? Because you're not reacting, you're responding. You're grounded in your own value, not desperate for hers. You have to understand, relationships, especially in the early stages, are like a dance, and whoever controls the emotional rhythm controls the outcome. If you chase, if you get anxious, if you overthink, she feels that imbalance. She doesn't need to say anything, she just knows. But when you stay calm, stay focused on your purpose, and refuse to let her silence disturb your peace, you become the frame she starts looking to for direction. You don't have to force her to stay, you just have to make it clear that her absence doesn't shake your foundation. And that's powerful. That's what leadership looks like in relationships, being the calm in the chaos, the anchor in the storm. So don't let her behavior dictate your value. You set the emotional tone, you lead, and if she wants to be part of your world, she'll have to rise to meet you there. Let me say something that might shift your entire perspective. Her attention is not the prize, your life is. The biggest mistake men make when a woman pulls away is turning their focus inward in the wrong way. They obsess. They replay conversations, analyze every message, every silence, trying to decode her behavior like it's a puzzle they must solve to earn her back. But the truth is, the moment you start chasing her approval, you abandon your mission. And when a man loses his mission, he loses everything. So if she's ignoring you, don't turn your life into a waiting room. Don't hit pause hoping she'll walk back in. That pause is killing your progress. It's draining your spirit. And ironically, it's making you less attractive, because nothing is more powerful than a man who is in motion, who is rising, who is choosing to elevate no matter who stays or who walks away. Redirect that energy. You've got goals you haven't touched yet. You've got dreams collecting dust. You've got a body that could be sharper, a mind that could be deeper, a life that could be richer, and every ounce of energy you waste wondering why she isn't texting back, that's energy stolen from your potential. Why let her absence dim your light when it could be the fuel that sets you on fire? You don't need her attention to shine. In fact, your shine should be so consistent, so bright, that whether she comes back or not, you're already gone, evolved, transformed, leveled up. That's the version of you that she will eventually notice. The one that didn't fall apart when she went silent. The one that didn't beg or wait or slow down. You see, most men want her to come back to the version of them that got ignored. But the smart ones? They make sure that if she ever comes back, she meets a man she barely even recognizes. A man who used the pain of her distance to sharpen his vision, to upgrade his path, to remind himself who the hell he is. Don't try to win her attention, win your life, and let her realize, too late, that she was never the goal, she was just a detour on your way there. Have you ever noticed how the moment you stop caring so much, people start paying attention? It's wild, but real. And when it comes to women, indifference can do more than words ever will. If she's ignoring you, there's a reason your full-on efforts aren't working. It's not because you're not enough. It's because your energy is too available, too easy, too predictable. And let me be brutally honest, availability without boundaries is rarely attractive. See, women are emotionally intuitive. They can feel when your world starts spinning around them. They can sense when every decision you make is somehow tied to how they'll react or how they'll feel. And that energy, it doesn't draw them closer, it pushes them away. Not because they're cruel, but because emotional neediness feels heavy. It demands, it clings, it suffocates. But when you stop trying to fix things, when you stop trying to earn attention that should flow naturally, everything changes, because you stop operating from lack and you start standing in value. Indifference isn't about playing games. It's about protecting your peace. It's about saying, I care, but I won't beg. I respect you, but I respect myself more. That's powerful. When she feels like you're unaffected, like you're not shaken by her silence, like her distance doesn't create panic in your world, that's when her curiosity kicks in. That's when she starts wondering, why hasn't he called? Why isn't he trying harder? Did I misread his interest? It flips the script. Because now, she's the one seeking validation, not you. The moment you shift your energy from pursuit to presence, from proving to simply being, you start radiating something rare, emotional stability. And women aren't just attracted to looks or words. They're pulled toward men who are unshakable, grounded, centered. So if she's ignoring you, don't fill the silence with noise. Don't rush in to fix the distance. Let it be. Lean back, not as a tactic, but as a reflection of your truth, that your peace is more important than her confusion, that you don't need to prove anything, that you know what you bring, and whether she sees it or not, you're still moving forward. Sometimes the loudest message you'll ever send is your silence. Let me ask you something most men are too afraid to face. What if the closure you're waiting for never comes? What if she never gives you an explanation, never tells you why she pulled away, never admits what really happened? Would you stay stuck, waiting in silence for answers that may never arrive? Because that's where too many men lose themselves, in the waiting room of someone else's decision. The idea that she owes you closure is comforting, but it's also a trap. It keeps you tethered to someone who's already moved on emotionally. And the longer you wait for her to give you permission to move forward, the more you hand over your power. Closure isn't something someone gives you, it's something you give yourself. Her silence is the answer. Her withdrawal is the message. You just don't want to accept it. But what if you did? What if you stood up and said, I see what your actions are telling me, and that's enough? Because deep down, you already know the truth. She's not confused. She's not lost. She's made a choice. And your dignity depends on whether or not you accept that choice without begging for clarity. See, when a woman stops communicating, most men panic. They send long texts, write paragraphs asking for honesty, for just one last conversation. But here's what you need to understand. If someone values you, they don't disappear. They don't go silent. They don't leave you guessing. And if someone can leave you with questions and not care enough to answer them, that's all the closure you need. You have to be the one to end the story, even if she never gives you the last page. Don't wait to be set free, set yourself free. Because when you choose to walk away without needing her words, that's when real healing begins. That's when you step out of the fog and back into clarity. So don't chase a conversation that's already over. Don't try to revive what's already gone cold. You are the closure. Your decision to move forward is the ending. And that's the most powerful chapter you'll ever write. Let me hit you with something most men overlook. Your presence is not the only thing that should be felt. Your absence should echo just as loud. When a woman starts pulling away or taking you for granted, the biggest mistake you can make is doubling your efforts. More time, more attention, more effort. But the truth is, when someone starts to forget your value, sometimes the only way to remind them is by removing access to it. There's something incredibly powerful about a man who knows when to stop showing up, not because he's bitter, not because he's playing games, but because he respects himself enough to understand this. If you don't value my presence, you're going to have to feel my absence. That's not manipulation, that's self-worth in motion. The issue is most men think their power lies in what they give, a kind text, a call, a surprise visit. And yes, those things matter. But when they're no longer appreciated, when they're expected, when they're ignored, then giving more becomes self-sabotage. And here's the truth. People remember how you made them feel, but they never forget what it felt like when you were no longer there. When you go quiet, when you stop checking in, when you disappear from her routine, that absence starts to create a void. And it's in that void that clarity is born. She starts to realize you weren't just available, you were a presence that brought energy, calm, interest, stability. And when that's gone, it's not silence she hears, it's impact. You don't need to announce your exit. You don't need to explain your distance. You just quietly fall back. You focus on your growth, you let her wonder, and if she starts to notice, good. If she doesn't, even better, because that tells you everything you need to know. Never overstay in a space where you're no longer valued. You're not a backup plan. You're not someone to be put on pause. And the moment you realize that your absence can speak louder than any words, you stop chasing and you start leading. Sometimes the most powerful move you'll ever make is walking away without saying a word.